Hey, what it do, y'all? Welcome back to Fandom Frequency. This is the channel where we get into all the worlds of pop culture, whether it's horror, music, anime, anything in between. We talk about it around these parts. I am your host, Will, and I'm joined by a very special guest today, my co-host, Steph from the Final Girls. And if y'all have joined us for the last collab we did together for a cabin in the woods and everything like that, make sure you check that out. I'm going to have a card for that up there in the corner. So make sure you click that right after the video. We'll have it at the related videos at the end as well. Make sure you check that out. We had a really fun time, getting to do a little bit of interviewing, talking about one of the coolest modern horror movies out there, in my opinion. And, just getting to know each other a little bit better and getting to, kind of merge our audiences together and just nerd out a little bit. So thank you for joining us and thank you for joining me again today. Really
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me back.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
an honor.
Yeah, definitely. Like all the people that checked out the show really, really dug it. And, we had some fans hop on over from your channel and come over and show support. So we really appreciate it. And it's always good vibes around here. So
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun last time too. So as soon as you asked me to come back, yeah, it's
exactly.
a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly. And if y'all saw the thumbnail by this point, but maybe if you just tuned in on the podcast feed or something like that, this is a lot different than the last thing we talked about because it's in a completely different realm in the pop culture space. And we're talking about the best Disney animated film of all time, or at least the most underrated in my mind in the Renaissance era, especially. That's right. A Goofy movie, the seminal Disney movie in my mind, 1995, directed by Kevin Lima. Man, this is such a seminal, important movie for me, man. Like, it really influenced me into, just getting into animation and stuff and really paying attention to that sort of thing and really becoming a fan of it. I don't animate or do anything like that, but that was really one of the films that really made me love Disney movies more so than anything else.
Yeah, well, the thing is I was about to say that too. Is it's extremely underrated,
Mm-hmm.
and I love the fact that it's a musical, but it still caters to your young male audience.
Yes, exactly. It's telling a fun story.
Yeah, it's fun, and the soundtrack is fantastic.
Oh my gosh, man.
It's fantastic. They did such a good job on it, but they didn't, they made it so that it was relatable across the board
Exactly.
versus being just like a girly princess movie or.
Exactly. Like that's the thing I always notice with this film too. Like women of all ages, dudes of all ages, and even people that are in between the spectrum and everything just
Yeah.
really love this film, and it appeals to everybody. And to me, that's a sign of great art where
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff, all those barriers are broken down, and people could just enjoy it and find something that they something that they can relate to and something that really connects with them. And that was the one thing with me with this movie was, me and my dad, obviously, as I got older and stuff like that, we don't see eye to eye on everything or, things like that. We're different people and whatnot. We still have a great relationship and we still do a lot of fun stuff together. You even met the both of us at the Monsterpalooza event. So we still do a lot of activities together as I've gotten older. And now that I'm an adult, I do appreciate that time. But as a teenager, I kind of felt the way Max did at times where I just wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to hang out with my parents. So it's funny looking back on it now and kind of relating to it in that sense too. And even being a little kid, I didn't get that part of it yet, but I just had so much fun seeing those two go on their wacky road trip at the time.
Oh yeah.
It was just so fun. And even though I haven't traveled a whole lot since then, it's just always funny because traveling is like that. It never quite goes according to plan. So.
Oh yeah, I remember taking a road trip with my dad to Idaho.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah, and oh man, he drove me absolutely insane. We'd be driving long stretches and he wouldn't turn off like his turn signals, and so for like hours on end we hear that tick 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 tick.
You never
tick,
said
tick.
anything?
Oh, I would, and then he'd purposely leave it on because he knew it was bothering me.
Oh, man.
So we'd be
Yeah,
on
man.
these long, quiet stretches
Yeah.
of road listening.
Her pops is the original troll before all the trolls on the internet. You heard it here first. He's just trolling you the whole way, man.
Oh, he did.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
hilarious. That's great.
I'm like, you already got over. You merged. You can turn it off now.
I'll think about it. I'll get around to it. And that's the thing. So you mentioning the music. The music is spectacular. It's so well written,
Oh, yeah.
and then the lyricism behind that I think is really funny. And like the whole way that they do the rhyme schemes with it, I think is so clever. And they actually mix up a lot of crazy words together. And as someone that is really into the art form of hip hop, and I rap myself, and I'm into lyrics as well. or I'm also a writer and stuff like that.
I am too.
In general, yes,
As
and
well,
we were talking
yeah.
about that last time. So that's something that always really appealed to me with this movie. But as I've gotten more into that, I really learned to appreciate that even more. So. And it just really, really makes me appreciate musicals more because I've never been a huge musical person. Do you like musicals a
Oh,
lot?
I live for
Yeah, I
musicals.
thought so.
I actually, fun fact, as a kid, I grew up wanting to sing on Broadway or sing on something like this.
Okay.
So yeah, this is.
Have you done like a Disney production at the parks or anything like that?
I
or-
have not,
Okay.
but I karaoke. I mean, Let It Go.
Hey,
Let it.
check it out. Check it out, man.
It's on my TikTok.
Hey, exactly. Follow her over there. You have to legit drop that in the description. I'm not over there, but you make sure you support her, man. I'm
I mean, there's not much on there, but yeah, my best Let It Go is in there.
I'm gonna have to check it out. You have to show that to me later.
Heck yeah.
But hell yeah, but yeah, and make sure you guys comment down there below too. What's your favorite song out of the soundtrack? I think for me, it's probably gonna be the Nobody Else But You one. I think the one when they're
Okay.
going down the river.
That one's good, but I actually like when just the opening one.
They've been laughing since I can remember, but they're not gonna laugh anymore.
I
when
really
he's
love
walking to
the
school?
opening when he's walking to school,
Yep.
and you have all the different like tropes of cliques.
Yeah, exactly. You got the
You-
nerds. You got
Your
the
goth
jocks.
girls, the jocks,
Yep.
the cheerleaders, the popular girl with the big buff guy that
Exactly. With the fingerless gloves, man. 90s all day in the vest.
yeah, but I love the way they depicted all the different cliques and everything else, and it was so well put together, and it was pretty seamless.
It's almost like a Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yes.
like in like mini movie, like short film before they go on the whole road trip. So
Yeah.
and I always kind of wanted like a sequel that like took place in between this one and the next one, where it's like just him at school, you know,
Oh yeah, that would have been good. That would have been interesting
for sure.
But
Or if
I-
they did a series.
I do got to admit though too, I thought it was pretty clever when they get in the car to get on their road trip, and you have the ticking of the keys.
Oh right,
Where
yeah,
all of a
making the
sudden
beat.
goes into it starts with the beat
That
and
was
then
pretty
goes
sick,
into
yeah.
the music, and I was like, that's clever.
Definitely.
pretty clever.
Did you watch SpongeBob?
Of course.
Okay, gotcha.
Of course.
Hey, you never know, man. Some people didn't like it, but that reminds me of that one where they were making the beat with the jellyfish and all that stuff.
Okay, yes.
Like I like when they do that with like cartoons and things like that, man. Like bring that back. Somebody needs to bring that back for real.
We need some more of that.
Yeah, hell
Most
yeah, for sure.
definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah, but there's just so many good stuff. The Power Line track at the end is freaking incredible, man. That is a
Yes.
banger. Whoever wrote that, dude, I don't know. They're on
Well, I
another
loved it
level.
because it had that whole Prince vibe too.
Yes.
Prince and yeah.
Like that Batman 1989 soundtrack kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yep.
Except that was a New Power Generation or
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, so
Yep.
that's exactly what it reminded me of was, Prince. May he rest in peace.
Yeah, for real, man. Gone way too soon.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And man, just
Mm-hmm.
too much craziness, man, and just the voice acting and everything, and there's just so many fun characters that you grow to love throughout the other Goofy movies and things like that. Between his best friends PJ,
Yeah.
and you got Pauly Shore's character. He always cracks me up, man. The whole Spicoli thing he's got going on. He's
Yeah.
on Leaning Tower of
Cheese.
Pizza.
Well, I think one of my favorites too is because my all-time favorite movie is The Princess Bride. So Principal
gotcha.
Mazer.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I kept expecting him to be like inconceivable through the whole thing, but
I
yeah,
haven't seen that.
What?
I have not seen The Princess Bride. I know what it is.
We need
like,
to
I'm
we
very
need to get
well
Will
aware.
to see The Princess Bride.
Hey.
We need.
I never really found a reason to do it. Maybe we'll do that one together. Maybe that'll be me stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit, doing something different.
It's yeah.
I do hear good things about
It's
it.
worth it.
And it's, what was that? Carrie Elways, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I like him a lot. Like everything I've watched.
If you
him in, he's
like,
good,
if you
so.
like Robin Hood Men in Tights, then
Yes, that's exactly where I seen him the first time. I believe.
Then
And
yes.
then what was a movie that's similar to that, but it was more modern? What was it? Enchanted. I liked that actually too.
okay, then yes.
So I
we
feel
need
like
to
I
get
might
him to
actually
see
dig
The
it.
Princess Bride.
All right. Comment
Come
down
on,
below.
put it
Let
down
us
there.
know if you get enough requests. Maybe I'll budge on it. But yeah, but that's actually a good call for sure. Let me see. Principal Maze, that guy just makes me laugh in general. I'm like, he's just lip syncing to a song and they're
Or
acting like he like broke
something terrible.
into school and stole something.
Well, his secretary actually kind of reminded me of the one on Ferris Bueller.
Yep. That's exactly what they were going for, I think. That was like a Ferris Bueller vibe kind of
whole-
mixed in there for
yeah.
sure. Like, I just love that coming of age vibe in the whole movie, really, but really in that first chunk of the film. It's just so fun, and I really miss those type of movies. You don't get those a lot nowadays.
No,
And that was at its prime in the 90s. And
Yeah.
I was watching American Pie the other day and just kind of revisiting some of those old movies from the 2000s and the 90s, and I get, people are more sensitive these days, and people don't want to necessarily get into all the tropes of the high school thing and all that, but I do kind of miss that
I kind
vibe.
of remember it kind of took me back to like my first crush.
Right.
Yeah,
The whole thing with him and Roxanne.
Yeah, it kind of took me back of, well, should I talk to him? Maybe he really doesn't like me.
Mm-hmm.
He pulled away from me when I touched his hand,
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it took me back a little bit to the awkwardness, and yeah, I remember that well.
Yep. I was gonna say, I definitely do. About
Oh, yeah.
15 years ago or so, I remember getting in all that with my first crush and everything, and then everyone at school finding out, and then
Oh yeah.
getting the whole humiliation factor when you get rejected or whatever. But you live and you learn.
You'd be like, who likes you?
Yep,
He like-
exactly. When you're like super obvious about it all the time. I'm like, I'm acting like she doesn't know at this point. She's like, yeah, I know. I can kind of tell for the last like semester, dude. But it's so much fun with that, and I like the way that they do the whole romance with Max and Roxanne. It feels very genuine and not.
It
It's
wasn't
somewhat
forced.
cliche, but it doesn't feel forced. Exactly.
Yeah, it didn't feel forced, and I like the way they came together, and it had like an innocence to it, which I loved.
Exactly.
I absolutely love the innocence behind their coming together and everything else. It wasn't, like, nowadays it's like a lot of even the teenager films, they kind of just go way overboard, and I love the way that.
It almost feels platonic in a certain way, where if they didn't like each other that way, you could see them just being friends
A little
too.
more organic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of just being like super like shoving it in there, like certain movies, like whether it's Marvel movies sometimes, or I would even say some modern Disney films and things like that, where it just doesn't feel as genuine. Where a lot of these earlier Disney films, especially in the Renaissance era, like Mulan, that was a really great written romantic relationship. I think.
Oh yeah, I was actually really
Tarzan.
upset that they didn't have him in
Yeah.
the live action.
I
for
still
Mulan.
haven't gotten around to it because I wasn't
It's
hearing
okay.
great
You're really
things.
not missing
Yeah,
anything.
but I would like to just or sooner or later, I guess, just to get the comparison, because I love that original.
The original,
Mulan.
the original is fantastic.
I already
Yeah.
figured them trying to redo that was going to be a tough sell. But once they said no Mushu, I was out. I was like, I'm not
That was
supporting
pretty
this movie.
much me too. But when they went on Disney Plus, I was like, I'm
See,
not paying
that's
for
what
it.
I'm
Why
saying.
might as well? Why not?
Yeah, true. But hey, who knows, man? Who knows what was the big meaning behind that? But I mean, let's see. What's some other great? I mean, this movie's just every freaking scene is just so great. The whole thing with the possum place, man, just cracks me up every time.
I think my favorite is Bigfoot.
Yes, Bigfoot. Yes,
Especially when he gets the headphones and he's dancing and staying alive. If
Yeah.
we ever find Bigfoot in real life, we need to get him on Saturday Night Fever.
I'm out. I'm not even gonna stick around. No thanks. I don't care if he likes music or not.
I'm like, he's got some moves on him though.
Yeah, that guy.
You know?
I don't know, man. He don't have a brother hanging around is not so nice, But the whole thing with Bigfoot was hilarious, with him doing the perfect cast, throwing the meat out there and all that. And I'm like, it's so funny how him and PJ and them just run into each other super randomly in the forest like that. I'm like, that is
Yeah.
hilarious.
Well,
It's got the RV.
Well, I
like,
think
man.
Pete actually kind of did it on purpose. He knew where they were going,
So he just wanted to do
and
that to flex
had
on
already
him.
talked about camping.
Oh yeah, Lake Destiny and all that. That's
And
true.
then when they were talking about Lake Destiny, he was like, "Well, we'll go there too, and we'll show him up, and then we'll get Goofy to buy the pizza, and we'll get Goofy to,
For real.
let us hook up in his hotel room, and
Such a good- you won't even notice it.
the water beds were all spurting the water.
I know waterbeds. I love the 70s influence in these Goofy movies, It's like
Yeah.
I like that old school kind of vibe to it. But it still feels timeless. That's the thing I
Oh,
love
yeah,
with this movie.
definitely.
It's very 90s, but it also just never really gets too aged. like other movies I feel like do sometimes, like maybe some other older Disney films like Pinocchio, I feel like is very dated, or
Yeah.
Dumbo, or even I even think like Sleeping Beauty is even kind of dated, I would even say.
As much as I love them still,
Yeah,
but yeah.
you know, no, yeah,
Yeah.
they're all like classics, of course. Snow White even a little bit, but
Yeah.
I feel like Mulan and Tarzan, Hercules. This one, I feel like they really have stood the test of time,
Oh,
and
heck yeah.
really just continue to get just as popular with every recurring generation. So I really always love that. And
Goofy's always been my favorite Disney character,
By a landslide.
even prior to a Goofy movie.
Yep.
Just watching all the classic shorts and stuff, and he's always the first one I look for at
Yeah.
Disneyland. And
he was always funny. He was always like a that sweet character. He's like he's the guy that everyone wants to have as a friend. You
he's
know what I mean?
genuine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And naive at the same time, which I always enjoy those naive characters, you know.
Yeah,
And I like
likewise.
the clumsiness. I can relate. I'm very clumsy as well. We were just talking about that off camera.
Yes.
We're both very clumsy. We even had a little faux pas before the show. Nothing too major though.
Slight one.
Yeah, man. And it's just so many so many great moments with Goofy in this thing, man. Whether it's him doing the mambo in the beginning, or him with the baby getting a rattler stuck in his mouth and stuff like
the
that.
squeaky.
Like he's just always continuously cracking me up in this movie. And I love the whole thing with when he's doing when they're doing the music, when he's like trying to change it from the rock music.
Oops, there goes
Yeah,
another
yeah.
rubber tree.
And then he's like, "Hey, I'm trying to listen to Van Halen right here, man." Rocking out. And I was
Yeah,
like, that was
that was
totally me
pretty
and my
great.
dad on every trip. I was
And
like,
they forgot to bring the pencil to wind the cassette back up.
They're forgetting, man. Old school tricks. I just remembered
Not
that.
that I know anything about this.
Oh, yeah. Of course not. Of course not. We're both no older than 21.
Exactly.
Both no older than 21. Born in 2003. But yeah, man, it's just so many classic moments with this, man. And I'm forgetting the voice actor right now. But the guy that plays Goofy, I think it was the original guy at the time. Him and the one that plays Max just have such great chemistry
Oh,
together,
yeah.
and it really feels like they're true father and son. And just all the voice actors in this movie do such a great job, and it's just such great animation too.
Yeah.
With this movie, and getting the Blu-ray, got to see like the HD version of it and stuff like that, and they did a really great job with it.
Yeah.
It really looks like it's like a brand new film they just did. Instead of 3D, they just did it hand drawn, but it's really awesome. I
I
like
actually
it.
love 2D animation though personally.
Yep, same here.
I like the classic feel of 2D animation. Yeah.
It feels more immersive to me. It doesn't
Yeah.
like I feel like 3D sometimes it can get a little jarring depending on what it is. Like Toy Story was a really cool like
Toy Story was
new
great.
thing.
Yeah.
But I felt like sometimes like Disney and DreamWorks and all them sometimes have leaned a little too much onto that, where I don't think it always serves the story as much. Where like a lot of the Pixar films, it's kind of helps because they're trying to tell a more realistic story.
Yeah.
Where stuff like this, I like to kind of get immersed. Or the mixture they did with like Treasure Planet.
Oh,
I
that
thought
one,
was
yes.
really cool.
Yes.
And it seems like they kind of did that here in like maybe a couple scenes, but I don't think they really did that too heavily. But
No.
yeah, it's some of the best hand-drawn animation I feel like Disney's ever done. So that's another thing for me. It's just so underrated. I don't like. Why do
Yeah.
you think this movie doesn't get as much praise as the other ones?
I actually think that this one is more of a cult classic.
Like it maybe didn't do as well at the time, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's more of a cult classic, like kind of like The Emperor's New Groove.
Yes, that's another. That's
It's
a
also
perfect
another one that's
example.
great. It's an underrated film, but I don't think gets the accolades, but
Never.
it's so well done.
Even I didn't even bring it up right now. I was like, oh, snap, right. That is super dope. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think there's just something with
I don't know. It's like it
don't
seems so
know.
popular with people around my age, but it just seems like at the time in the '90s, it just didn't hit that much. I guess.
Yeah.
What was that around the time of Lion King? I think right after that.
Probably around there or
Yeah, 'cause I
around
think Lion
there
King's
or
94.
The Little Mermaid-ish, maybe.
Okay. Dang. So yeah. So I guess it just got overshadowed because that was a
Which is
big run.
possible
Yeah.
because The
Mermaid,
Little Mermaid and Lion
and the Beast.
King. Oh, yep.
Yeah.
'cause
Best
I think those
Picture
were
and all
the-
that. What was
Yeah,
the
because
other
those
one?
were all in the 90s too.
Yep.
Yes, early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything was just such on a roll. Maybe. And then Goofy's always kind of been a little more on the side anyway. Like Mickey Mouse was always kind of the main guy, obviously. Donald Duck, I feel like even was more popular a little bit with the kids.
Yeah.
And then Goofy kind of always came like second fiddle. So I feel like since he already was an underdog, pun intended, it was already like he wasn't necessarily not going to get as many people hyped anyway, but it just kind of grew over time as kids discovered it on home video, like myself and
Yeah, exactly.
all the kids up to now.
I'm wondering if it's because people are always so confused between the correlation between Goofy and Pluto.
That too.
With Pluto and Goofy are both dogs, but why is Pluto a pet?
Something going on here. Cancel Disney.
Make it make sense.
I know. I'd rather go into this whole theory video.
Yeah, it's like, oh wait, what kind of things is
Goofy
Mickey
is
into?
a half human. That's what it is. They're all mutants. But
Yeah, it's true. Although I thought it was crazy too how we have this dog world with Goofy and all the people there, but then they actually do bring in Donald and Mickey as they're getting ready to go to California.
Yep.
And it's interesting to see.
I was like, hey, what?
Yeah.
So why is everyone else a dog except them? I'm like, do they live in a dog town? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Dog town. I like it.
Could be. It's possible.
Nah.
Can you tell us, Disney?
The world is segregated. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We
Just
just haven't found Mouseland
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Duckland.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, I like how they threw in a little cameo with Mickey Mouse and them too. I remember as a kid, I thought they were gonna make like a movie with them or something, but that never ended up happening. But that could have been kind of a fun idea.
Well, I do love the classics where it has them as the trio, like the one where they're traveling in that old broken down truck.
I can't remember the name of those movies, but I know what you're talking about.
I don't either.
But yeah, those are fun too. Those are kind of underrated as well.
But all the shorts, I loved. Because that's kind of what I grew up on, the Goofy shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Him doing all the different sports and things like that. So it was fun to see this. And then, and I liked the way that I also loved when you saw the softer side of Max, when he has control of the map and he's taking him to these amusement parks and he's taking him to the big truck.
Oh yeah, the monster truck show,
things. And then he sees that his dad's not really feeling it. So he takes him to the yarn museum.
Yep. And it's just that true bonding moment that they have during the trip.
It's like, you know what? Let's do something that he likes now. You know, we've done these other things that, he's going along with it, but let's give him something that. So I really liked seeing that softer side of Max.
Yeah, for sure. And getting to see the less bratty side of him as a teenager and everything. And that's why Max as a character is just so likable, because he's a good guy. He loves his dad. His dad just drives him crazy because, of course, if your dad was goofy, it would drive you crazy because, his dad is a little bit of a Looney Tune, if you will. But Goofy just loves his kid to death, and he would do anything for him. And you just really feel
Looney
the
Tune,
bond.
I think, is a whole other.
Hey, Roger Rabbit, they crossed over.
Oh, this is true.
That is very true.
This is very true.
The only time I've done it since, and I'm like, they need to do that again. But yeah, man, there's just so much greatness with that. And what was the other scene? I had one other scene in my head, and now I can't remember which one it was now.
Well, I always thought too, you always have that one friend that always wants to put a negative spin on everything, and that's kind of how I feel about Pete.
Yeah, he is very much a hater.
The toxic friend,
Yes.
and it's like he sees that
him and Max are getting
along, and they're bonding and this and that, and I don't know if it's kind of maybe like a jealousy thing that he may not have so much with PJ, because PJ he says respects me. Because PJ's scared of his dad.
Exactly. He doesn't do discipline out of love. He does discipline out of intimidation, which never is going to work the same way.
And then tries to buy back his son's love,
which is not going to work.
No, not at all.
Nope. And I've seen that with other people in relationships and stuff like that. So that's kind of a nice, like, I wouldn't say dark, but that's kind of like a more like real kind of storyline. That's kind of an undercurrent in there.
Yeah. So then he's poking at Goofy like, well, you look at what your kid's doing. Look at what's happening here. And
Goofy didn't want to believe him at first, even though Pete did tell him the truth.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, he changed the map, homie. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Don't believe me if you don't want to. But Goofy, like, he really, like, cares that much and believes in Max that much that he wouldn't even fathom that he would lie to him, where all teenagers lie at some point to their parents, you know?
Well, maybe.
Oh, okay. Hey. If you're watching.
Maybe.
Hey, my parents will watch this. Just know.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, but hey, we're past it now. We're good. But yeah, man, like there's so many great emotional moments with the film as well, and the whole thing with them arguing and everything after he finds out the truth of what Max was doing, and the whole motivation behind it, which he does understand, he does empathize with Max on it, but he just felt betrayed and felt a little hurt that he would do that to him, when he just wanted to spend time with him, where he's starting to grow up and they're not going to have that time together in the same way. So I just love that real emotional moment with Goofy and Max throughout that whole back half of the film in the third act as we're getting closer to California. And you really just feel the emotion behind that. And I think sometimes in Disney movies, you don't get those real, more intense emotional moments like that,
Exactly.
Like Mulan, that was another thing with that, with her arguing with her dad about, going to war and things like that. Those are the things I kind of appreciate from Disney that I don't think we get as often these days in their animated content.
Exactly.
So
you get to see more of the familial struggles and things like that. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And it makes it more relatable, I think, and that's why I think this movie really has grown with people like that. And I think that's why the popularity just continues to keep moving, man. And yeah, but I mean, are there any other?
It's relatable.
Yeah, like who hasn't been in a situation like that with their parents? Who hasn't wanted to go do something else, and your parents want to take you on vacation? That literally has happened to me at least a couple times. So I was literally around the same age Max was too. So that goes to show that it's just I don't know. And I wonder who actually ended up coming up with the story at Disney, but whoever did, they just had such a fun idea, and made a legendary movie in and of its own right. And, I don't know if any of you guys out there ended up getting the Blu-rays at all, but they got the Blu-ray that came out for the anniversary, I think the 25th anniversary of these, for this and the sequel, an extremely goofy movie. And they definitely are not cheap anymore, so I'm definitely glad I got it when I did, because those things go for like 40, 50 a pop now.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
I guess I took it for granted because, I watched it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, exactly. And that was before Disney Plus was a thing, I think, when these initially came out.
Yeah, because and I haven't bought a DVD in a minute.
Oh, really? You don't collect physical media much?
Oh, I do. I have tons. I just
Not lately.
It's been a minute since I've bought any. Yeah,
I feel you.
yeah, because I
I've
have
had a handful this year, but I haven't gotten as many as I have in the past.
exactly. It has to be like one of those movies that I just absolutely
Have to have.
have to have it.
I feel you. Yeah, for my certain like filmmakers or certain actors or franchises,
Yes.
like all the Star Wars movies, I got those. Well, actually, except Solo, so I lied. But
What?
yes, the last one I need to buy was I just got 9 after that came out. So yeah, I just need to get Solo, which I thought was okay, but that's a story for another day. But yeah, I mean, is there any other like major moments in here that you wanted to highlight, or any aspects that stuck out to you with your fandom of the movie?
I actually love the Roxanne's overprotective dad.
Yeah, that was a good moment for sure.
I was expecting him to come out with a shotgun. But yeah, I did.
Is Roxanne home?
It's okay. Good daddy. Good daddy.
I was like, dang, if that's the dad, I wonder where the mom's at. I always wondered that with
That
Goofy.
was the thing. I believe Goofy's a single dad.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I love too. I actually really loved seeing these single fathers and seeing how
Good point.
how they navigate
Being a parent and stuff
being a
like that.
parent and things like that too. Because, I mean, I grew up. The one I call my dad is my stepdad. So, and he adopted me when I was about 13. So, I lived with my mom, who did it alone for a while, and she worked multiple jobs and things like that. So it's but it's interesting to see the different take on the other perspective of the father figure versus the mother role. And so it was interesting, but I could still relate to see how even my relationship with my mother
Could like mirror certain things that go on in the movie with them. So
well, yeah, because I was still a teenager at one point and had my squabbles with my mom and
as we all do.
Yeah,
I had plenty of mine in my day. So that's a really good aspect of the movie, man. Like I'm sure that's another reason why people have really connected with this too. And maybe some people connect with it even more as adults than they did as kids, because now they're going through a similar struggle, or it just strengthens their love for the movie even more, So that's a good one out there. If there's any single parents out there that grew up loving this film and now you're I wouldn't say necessarily unfortunately, but if you happen to be a single parent and you grew up loving this movie, I would love to hear from you in the comments.
Yeah,
That actually would be an interesting perspective to hear in there. Don't got to get too personal or anything like that, but just to. But if anyone kind of saw, related to it in the same way, you know what I mean, and let us know your favorite moments in here too as well. I love getting to hear from y'all out there and just seeing what moments stuck out to you. What really makes you guys love this movie as much as we do. And there's so much fun to be had with it. And we were even talking about the second one potentially down the line. So, I mean, that's definitely an option. I mean, if you guys want to see that, let us know as well. I love the movie, own the movie, watch it all the time. Got it on Disney Plus.
I haven't revisited that one in a long time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I watched that one maybe like a few months back.
Okay.
I was watching something about Tony Hawk, and they were talking about the X Games. And it got me thinking about that when I was like, oh, man, I'm going to pop that on. Because they had the whole college X Games going on, and that was huge back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I do remember that. But that's one movie I have not seen in a really, really long time. And I think I may have only seen it like once or twice.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's definitely one I'll need to revisit.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I really do recommend it. It's hilarious. I would say it's pretty much just as heartfelt, I feel like, as well. The music, I don't think they have as many good original numbers in there. They kind of lean more on already really popular hit songs.
Got it.
So that's the kind of really big difference with it as well. And then Max being in college, you do get a little more mature humor in there and stuff like that, but you still get a lot of the great fun moments that you got with Goofy in this first one. So I definitely recommend checking it out for sure. Like whenever you get a chance, if you're just in the mood.
I almost watched it again, but then I didn't want to
get too. I did the same thing. I don't want to mix up plot points or
exactly because I knew I would end up going, oh, what about this part? Oh, wait, that wasn't this movie.
That's an excellent one. If y'all want to see us discuss that one here on the channel, definitely request it and let us know. Hit us up on social media as well. Between us, Fandom Frequency, or the Final Girls, if you want to see that happen on the channel or anything like that, let us know. And yeah, I mean, this is just always going to be one of my personal favorite movies, whether it's animated, any genre, always has been, always will be. Really does mean a lot to me, and really informed a lot of my taste in pop culture and in movies in general. So it's an important film, man, and I just feel like as most underrated Disney movie, if you haven't seen it, make sure you go check it out. It's on Disney Plus. You got to know someone with the password, and they're not like Netflix, so you can still use your homie's password.
Yes, do it now.
Do it now. Do it now. Get it on your DVR. Get your remote and put it on Disney Plus. A Goofy movie. It's my favorite. The Governor
I'm gonna
approves it.
say Arnie's telling you.
The Governor, the Terminator's telling you, get into it now, man. But I mean, is there anything else you wanted to highlight about the film? I mean, before we sign off?
Pretty much hit it.
Yeah, I think we kind of hit everything in there, man. But yeah, you let us know. Do you love the Pauly Shore cameos as much as I do? Do you love all the original music? Let us know your favorite songs and everything in between. Make sure you don't forget to check out the Final Girls. They got a lot of great stuff going on the channel. Y'all just hit 8,000 subscribers, right?
Yes.
I did see that the other day. I saw your producer post that.
Yeah, we were actually pretty excited because we hit 7,000 on June 13th, and July 13th was when we hit our 8.
Yeah, that's crazy, yo.
So slowly it's happening.
13 is not an unlucky number. I've been saying that forever.
No, 13's a great number.
Exactly, man. So make sure you keep supporting the Final Girls over there. And make sure you support us as well. We hit our 300 subscriber goal last month that we were trying to do. So, we're just taking it 100 at a time. We're trying to hit that big 1,000 by the end of the year. So make sure you're joining the community today between us at Fandom Frequency and the Final Girls. And we're just, bringing it all together and just having a great time doing it. We really do enjoy doing these collabs together. It's always a fun time just getting the vibe out and just talk about movies and things that we love the most in pop culture. So thank you so much for watching and listening to the show. I'm going to be updating the podcast feed this weekend with all the latest stuff that we're going to be doing. We got some really fun stuff going to be dropping on the channel this week. So make sure you stay tuned for all of that. Mission Impossible right around the corner. So we'll be talking about that. Are you into those movies?
If only I could stomach Tom Cruise more.
I feel you. After you jumped on the couch, it's never been the same.
Yeah. I think I quit about Legend and the original Top Gun.
That Maverick is good, though. I'm telling you. Top Gun Maverick. The hype is real. But thank you so much for tuning in and checking this out. And until next time, stay safe out there. We love you and appreciate you. And peace out.